Great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever this conversation finds you. I am Travis Gray. This is Gray Transforms, and today we are blessed to be transforming with another great guest, my friend Mateo, DJ Mateo. He is an award-winning DJ, executive music producer, and entrepreneur. DJ Teo is a co-founder of VIDA. It is an application that is going to be revolutionizing the music industry. DJ Teo, how are you today?
I'm good, Travis. How about you?
Man, another day in paradise, as always. I really appreciated that we had an opportunity to meet several weeks ago. We had an opportunity to meet at a networking event that was collaborated with the Courtier Den space. So shout out to the Courtier Den in this local San Jose area, and DJ Calvin, to my understanding, and you have a relationship with DJ Calvin, and how did you guys get together to collaborate on this kind of networking event?
Yeah, so we actually got connected in Salt Lake City originally. We collaborated on an event and during basically kind of the same performative aspect, panel aspect event. And it went really good. And, everyone that was there, found a benefit out of it, which is good. And, Calvin's a really good guy. He's Russ's DJ. He's facilitated a lot of stuff going on in Atlanta from the beginning of times in the early 2000s when it was really at its peak. And, he really loves going city to city, especially when he's on tour, and basically collaborating with local venues and other places to just bring a good aspect of networking and music and creatives, just all in one room for a day. And yeah, so we originally connected like that. I know he was performing in Oakland around the time I met you at Oracle Arena or Oakland Arena. And I knew my boy L. James and the Courtier Den. They've been doing their thing in Japantown in San Jose for a minute now. And me and James actually connected through Clubhouse through my roommate at the time when I was in college, and just been connected since. And
That's
I just love what he's doing, which is a good bridge to make happen, especially on a Monday, and yeah, not a lot of stuff going on like that in Northern California. So it was good.
Absolutely. And it was so tight, like a really cool event. It felt very intimate. It felt very informative for the artists in attendance. Even it felt informative to me as well. So DJ Calvin, Russ's DJ, so the three of you connected essentially, brought that collaboration together through the Courtier Den. It was on a Monday. And DJ Calvin, maybe you had something to do with picking out some of the artists as well. The artists that performed there were amazing. L. James included, and some of the other artists were super great. I really connected with my man Indy Standard, and I was just it was just networking. He was sort of by himself. I was connecting with him. And then I didn't realize that there was going to be live performance at this event. So I'm just kicking it with him. He's a psychiatrist as well. I'm a psychologist, so we connected on that level. And then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh yeah, I have to go perform right now." And he goes and performs, and some of the other artists did their performances, and it was live. Such a cool space, such a cool thing to have been able to be a part of.
Correct. Yeah. So it was good. Indy's a good guy. His actual artist name is Industry Standard, and yeah, he's really, really talented. So yeah, I love what he has to offer as an artist.
And some of the other guys, I'm not remembering the names right offhand, but I was loving this dude that had full grill, full teeth set, and he had really dope shoes on. I remember pointing that out at one point. I don't. Do you remember his name?
Yeah, so that was G Swayze. G Swayze. We actually.
Who were some of the other artists who were there?
Soto. He's really good. He's a San Jose native. G Swayze actually met in Fairfield growing up, so we have ties like that. He's been doing his thing for a while too, especially when I went to college and I kind of left Northern California, and he's been doing his thing since. And not a lot of people have lasted, so it's been good to kind of connect him with some good people. Young Jin, based out of Vegas. He's really, really talented, has a really big following, and I'm wishing him nothing but the best. Kind of blanking. That might be it as far as the artist. I knew it was pretty brief. Obviously L. James. But yeah,
Pretty
I
brief.
think
Every artist had like
really brief.
2 to 3 songs.
Okay.
It was kind of like back to back, like 2 to 3 songs. I think L. James kicked it off.
Hmm.
Soto and Young Jin.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting like who was who. Is Young Jin the like he has tracks that should be like rated X. Like he
Yeah,
has
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Is
yeah.
that Young
That
Jin?
was in the slower songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was tight.
Hmm.
You like at face value, you don't expect all that from this guy, and
Correct.
he was tight. He was
Yeah.
tight. So
He's a young kid doing his thing, and he has, good representatives, good management on his end. So yeah,
yeah,
he has a bright future for sure.
absolutely. So all those artists are doing great, and so that's another component to all this to have like, I don't know if like you guys collaborated on putting those artists together. Is that right?
Yeah. We just kind of just handpicked them for
Okay,
that
yeah,
day.
that's great.
Hmm.
So to, being a DJ, like a big part of being a DJ, I imagine, is being able to have that ear for talent and to be able to spot talent like that, and then to give a platform for them to get some new listeners in this format was exceptional, really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Sweet. So I want to talk about VIDA, this revolutionary app. But before we go there, DJ Teo, how did you become DJ Teo? Where did this all start for you?
Yeah, so it's been a long time coming now. So basically, I was basically born and raised in the Bay Area, Northern California to be exact. Spent some time in Daly City, spent some time in Vallejo, and pretty much ended like my high school time in Fairfield, California. From there, became All American in football. From had a lot of options to go all across the country to play football as a long snapper. So if anyone knows football that's
It's a
listening,
long
I
snap.
was a long
Tight.
snapper, so I was heavily recruited for that. And basically it panned out that I was going to Michigan to a place called Davenport University. And yeah, it was just a place that offered me a scholarship. I went on my visit. I had a great time. I went on a bunch of visits and I had a great time at all of them. But I wanted to play immediately, and they kind of just gave me that clarity that I'll be able to do that. And from Michigan, that's where kind of DJ Tail started. We were just having a lot of fun in our dorm rooms, our RAs. If you don't know what RA is, it's basically the person that oversees the entire floor on a dorm. And RAs were partying with us. We were like, win or lose, we were partying, and I would be like in a basement in Michigan. With one speaker and like a mini DJ setup. And that's kind of where it happened, and I knew I had good music and I got to basically get a good taste of the East Coast, Midwest, and South because of all my teammates and all the other like universities I was at within Michigan, whether it was Western Michigan, Central Michigan, um, Michigan State. That was all in the area. Northwestern was pretty close to. It was only 2.5 hours. So we got to go to Chicago a few times, and yeah. So from there, I knew I didn't want to be in that snow anymore because that it was way too cold, and -5, -10 wasn't a fun thing for me, especially coming straight from California. But yeah. So from there, transferred to Weber State in Utah, Ogden, Utah. Right when I got done playing, I had to medically retire because I tore my rotator cuff.
Nice.
And in like really hand in hand at that time I was in Weber State, I knew I could take over Utah really quickly. And I really did. So we were like throwing our own parties because we were actually winning some Big Sky championships. And I was getting well connected with like the event throwers and like the clubs. And that was really good for me to have at the time. And it was a good time, and so yeah, from Weber State, that's where DJ Tail would be, where it became a thing. And it was a transfer from people calling me Mateo to DJ Teo, and people kind of meeting me and kind of being a supporter, kind of being a fan, not in a disregarding way, but I actually grew a fan base in Utah where I got to basically be around some industry people that were in town. There was the Jazz, the NBA is out there, so the Utah Jazz. All the tour stops were out there too for all these hip hop artists I wanted to be connected with. And yeah, so it was a really good time. Knew I basically had to make a decision to move out at some point to elevate my career and my mental health, and just being around a different um, collective of people, and made to move to LA. So yeah, we're here now.
That's tight. So
Hmm.
you moved to Utah and just knew that you could build a fan base. You knew that you could build the network there. It probably it's probably like lacking. You're probably
Hmm.
fitting a space that is not really heavily there. I've been to Ogden, Utah,
Oh wow,
and
yeah, yeah.
it doesn't feel like a place that has a whole lot of hip hop scene and a whole lot of like
Okay.
DJs, taking up the space to provide dope atmospheres.
Yeah, correct. So, like, I kind of what you were saying, I knew I could fill a void, and I knew there was no one around my age, around where I'm from, just a Bay Area DJ to like really like take control of like the market in a way where I could just be transformative. And from there, from when I got injured, I knew I got a job within marketing at in a corporate setting for two different companies, just to basically figure it out, and moved to Salt Lake all on my own. And yeah, from there just became a full-time DJ. I mean, it's kind of been panning out like that since. So
That's
yeah,
really dope.
nothing really in Ogden but the university. So it was pretty funny to realize that. And Salt Lake, I still, I'm still heavily involved and affiliated with a lot of things out there.
Yeah.
We could definitely speak on that soon about what I'm still partnered in with. So yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Mhm.
I could imagine like how easy it is to tear a rotator cuff, long snapping. So like
Yeah.
just like that whole motion of snapping and then defending immediately, like it seems like not good for your rotator cuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So how it happened is a workout. So it was actually an off-season
Uh,
workout. I was in, um, I was in Martinez. So I was in Martinez doing an off-season workout, and that happened there where it happened. And I'm like, oh, shoot, what do I do now?
yeah.
And that was a very, very, very difficult transition in my life to figure out what I wanted to do. If I
Mm,
still had the opportunity to play football,
mm,
whether it was Idaho, New Mexico, there's a few places that like offered me like, just a chance to like go there. But
mm,
I knew I already had something, and like my like closest friends were telling me like, hey, you already kind of had something going. You might as well just kind of work and like figure out this DJ stuff. And that
yeah.
was my inspiration to stay in Utah. So yeah.
That's dope that you had a really wise, good circle around you
Hmm.
to tell you that, because a lot of people can get maybe caught up in their athletic dreams. I have
Yeah.
a friend that I haven't had on the podcast yet, but he's an Olympian wrestler, so he wrestled
Oh,
for the Olympics in Bulgaria, or he
yeah.
represented the country of Bulgaria in the Olympics in Rio. But
Nice.
he now has like transitioned his professional career, because wrestling doesn't have a whole lot of foundation and kind of like a landing pad, or a
Yeah.
launch pad rather. It doesn't have
Right.
too much of a launch pad into your professional life. Even less so than football and other things, until like mixed martial arts has become so prevalent,
Hmm.
so mainstream. That has given wrestling sort of a journey, a path.
Yeah.
But not a lot of people want to go that direction either. No, who wants to get punched in the face? But
Yeah.
he transitioned to helping athletes figure out what they are doing with their professional lives. You can only be a professional athlete for so long, and now what are you actually going to be doing to provide for yourself and the people around you? So it's really cool that you had a wise circle around you. Had these been friends that you just met in college, or these are friends that you've had for a long time?
Yeah, so it actually was some friends I met in college, and the main one was my best friend. He said it was my best friend. His name is Kev. We grew up in the same city together also. So he was the
Right.
reason why I went from Michigan to Utah, because there was an opportunity for me to play. When this world's built around who you know most of the time, and
Yeah.
yeah, kind of going out to where you were saying, you built a lot of characteristics within sports itself. So you build a foundation of either marketing yourself or just kind of like being prompt on time, and just being organized enough to, like just like excel and grow as an athlete, that it is transferable to real life. And some people realize it and some people don't. So kind of
Yeah.
some stuff I realized after college. That's good. That's good. Your friend's doing that too. That's almost God's work. It's a tough transition for a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. For a lot of athletes, it is tough.
Yeah.
So you are now a DJ. What's your lifestyle look like from day to day? You're not only a DJ. You're pretty prolific. Like you're involved in a lot of projects. You just mentioned still being involved in a lot of Utah projects, but you're a DJ. You're involved in a lot of projects. You're co-founding an application that looks like it's going to revolutionize the music industry, as far as I can tell. And like what's your lifestyle like to manage all of those different responsibilities?
Yeah, I'd be a liar to say I had a routine, but I don't. You know what I mean? Every day is different. Every day entails a new thing, a new journey, essentially. Basically new people I meet every day also. And yeah, basically my day to day is just like I I got put on game to like really like get the annual calendar, so the yearly calendar that they sell on Amazon. And basically I bought one and I just realized if I could like basically attack my morning routine and my nightly routine every day, then I'm pretty much set, because every day is different. So I don't have an exact routine on what I want to do. But yeah, basically, like we're in July now, and since January, since last November, I've been on it, just checking off these boxes and making sure that I'm feeling what I need to do as far as like my daily routine. Just with like waking up and drinking enough water. It's something different every day, but I just want to make sure that I attack the day and I win the day, and I'll X it off one day out of the week. So I'm at it 6 out of the 7 days. I rest completely like one day. So I don't do anything. I don't have any contact with a lot of people. I probably work out. I'll probably do more of like a light day, more stretching, stuff like that. But yeah, so that's my day to day as far as like what I do. I am involved in a lot. But it's everything that's kind of just chimed into like what I want to do. So on top of being a DJ, I'm an executive producer, so I'm putting some music together, putting some really good projects together, like to pitch to films and just to have, and basically like provide an outlet for these artists to be on. And I'm a music supervisor within film, so I put music into documentaries, commercials, films, short films, all of those. And that's a big reason why I moved to LA. And also part of that, I'm a venue owner, so I own 2 different venues in Utah. Um, one is a hospitality group, so we actually we have a venue, but we outsource basically like entertainment for like NBA teams that are in town or like artists that are in town, and just facilitate events for people to have, and a venue for people to go to as well. And on top of that, I'm just launching a wedding venue, so that should be really good. And if people don't know this, Utah is like most likely top 3 markets in the nation for weddings. So that was a real good pickup for me. And yeah, co-founder of VITA, and striving every day to really grow and make sure people figure out what it is.
That's awesome. The wedding venue. I know that there is a lot of young people in Utah, so
Yeah.
now they're going to be like getting married as well. And Utah is a beautiful place. I was there. Well, what month was I there? I think I was there in like April or something like
Nice.
that. And I was in Ogden. There was snow on the ground, and I went all the way south. I was visiting a friend, then I drove all the way south to Zion National Park. So
Beautiful.
I stopped at like some natural hot springs on the way, like some wild things. It has all the levels of terrain and weather going on. Utah is a really beautiful state. I imagine that there is like a lot of opportunity for wedding venues for sure.
Correct. Yeah. And To speak on the wedding venue, it's pretty much attached hot springs. It's within the same canyons with some hot springs, a golf
Right.
course, just a pond, a lake to fish and swim at, so it's basically like it can be an excursion as well
Yeah.
as like a wedding stop as well. So, it's really fun, and Utah is a beautiful place, and I actually developed more of a connection with outdoors and nature. And now like I'm very picky on like where I consider like to even camp at, because
Oh, really?
I've already had the best of the best in my opinion. And yeah, I'll take some days to drive through a canyon or go to a lake, just reconnect with myself and life itself. And that was very beneficial for me kind of on the rise to basically who I am now. So yeah.
Absolutely. Have you been to Zion?
Yeah, Zion's beautiful. Southern Utah is, if people don't know this, listen, it's more red rock. It's a red rock kind of
Yeah.
scenery, and it's one of the places where it's 95 at during the evening and at night, and it's just beautiful. I love it out there.
It's so beautiful. Yeah,
Hmm.
a lot like what you would think of as the Grand Canyon. I've never been to the Grand
Yeah.
Canyon, but even just images in people's minds. But Zion's so beautiful. The state is beautiful. It's really awesome that you've been able to plant yourself like a seed into this state and take really great advantage of all of the opportunities that it provides. Because it does seem like a state that is really providing. So. So you're busy with all these projects day to day. Everything is different. You mentioned one specific. I liked that you emphasized one day out of the week that is just a rest focused day. I
Mhm.
think that's really cool, admirable to recognize within yourself. People, myself included, get like I should just be working every day. I should just grind every day really hard. There's like active rest kinds of things that you could be doing. But I like that you have a really focused rest day. You when you and Calvin were on stage at that networking event at the Courtier Den, it was really fascinating to hear the both of you speak about what an artist in modern times needs in order to find success in their own lives. Networking, huge. What are some of the skill sets that you think is lacking for a lot of artists to take them to the next level?
Yeah, I think to answer that, on the networking aspect is one of the most important things for yourself first before someone else can do it for you. And from there, it's just about having like industry standard, no pun intended, but industry standard, sound. So like we were talked about earlier in the beginning of the podcast, there's an ear test, and a lot of people within the music industry have like a developed ear to like if something sounds good or not off basically the first 5 seconds of a song. So you have to have that first. And I think from there, it's about, organically putting stuff together for you to basically excel within making your music known and making yourself known as a brand. Um, and it could be done like it could be done separately or it could be done simultaneously. And I think a lot of artists lack the the basically the everyday needs and basically like marketing themselves, and like showing up and supporting and being where they need to be at, you know what I mean? And, a lot of people do reach, stardom through, social media and elsewhere, but for the most part, they had a team or themselves were grinding for a long time. And, we only see, like the ending result, but you don't really know what actually took them there to really get to that point. And, with social media, it's almost like people have a different perspective on social media now than they did when it first like came out and became popular in 2012, so it's been a lot of things that have shifted to more organic marketing and, or like building resources yourself to really, yeah, just like show off who you are and be yourself. And yeah, so, social media is still really a good thing. Don't get me wrong. However,
Yeah.
there's different pinnacles and different ways you can attack marketing yourself as an artist.
Yeah, there was something really inspiring that I heard in that talk at that event about how often are you as an artist telling other people that you are an artist, or that you are really great at what you do, that you are, how often are you, how many people on the street did you tell today that you are, a rapper, or whatever it is that your art is? I thought that was really inspiring. I thought about like my podcast, or I like to think highly of myself, and I think everyone should strive to have like something tangible in their lives that they could say, that confirms to them, that affirms to them, that they are capable of thinking highly of themselves, that it is valid to think highly of yourself. And then how often are you telling other people that that you're a really dope artist? Because if you don't tell them, how are they going to find out? How are they going to know?
Yeah, exactly. And kind of to speak on what I just answered too, if you're in the music industry, you have to be around the music industry. There is no getting around it. You know what I mean? Whether it's now or in the future, if you are listening to this, I'm giving all my close friends, all my close people's advice on this is like, you have to be at the festivals, you have to be at the conferences, you have to be in LA, Atlanta, New York more often, just whatever you kind of have a connection at, or you want to build connections at, it's no getting around it. Even Larry June talked about it on the podcast, $1 Million Worth of Game. He was figuring it out, but he knew he had to be around just the music industry. So that's like South by Southwest, A3C, Outside Lands, just Rolling Loud, obviously, just so many places other than like actual music festivals that are conferences that are built for people to connect and see each other again at some point.
Man, I love that you're saying that. I think that I thought about this. I don't know when, recently, I guess. I thought about like how often is an artist going to a meet and greet, or paying for a VIP experience to see an artist, or how often are you listening to other people's music, and how often are you getting in? I mean, balance these things. Like, listen to your own music. Make sure your own sound is, like I said before, like you do want to have like tangible value that validates, affirms that you are as good as you're wanting to be, and claim to be to others. But how often are you going to like I mentioned, this Saturday, I'm going to see one of the artists that I've had on the podcast, Futuristic. I paid extra for this VIP ticket so that I could make sure that I'm in the same rooms, saying hi again, like supporting the artist that was on my platform, and I I want to go to more DJ Teo events in LA or wherever those are going on. It's like, how often are you willing to invest in yourself to go to those conferences and get, and not, and I did a post about like the difference between a front row ticket at an MMA match, at like a boxing match, a fight. The difference between a front row ticket at that and a courtside ticket at a basketball game, and there are like nuanced differences. But one of the values that you would do for getting that VIP experience is networking. It is so that you're around other people that are also willing to invest those kinds of dollars into, and attention and energy into whatever they're enjoying. So if you get an opportunity to go to see an artist or whatever, if you're sitting in the nosebleeds and stuff for this artist, like that, that's great that you were there to be the artist. I don't want to shame that either. Those can be great experiences and stuff too. But find a way in, and be willing to invest in yourself enough to create that way in.
Correct. Yeah. And investing in yourself comes in many different ways, whether it's energy, travel, funds, a lot of different ways. And, if you want to see yourself there, you have to be around it, and be around people that already are at that level that you want to get to. And
Absolutely.
Something I had to realize myself. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So what are some of the biggest investments that you made in yourself in your career?
Oh man, DJ equipment. So just having, top tier DJ equipment, especially when I wanted to do private events and weddings, it was something I had to do and kind of had to pay on credit for it and pay off over time. But it all came, it all worked out in its own way. So that was definitely, as like career standpoint, something I had to do. And really just like being present to like either supporting an artist, getting invited to like a show out of town and, paying for a last minute ticket, or, putting money into a hotel to, stay with myself or others at a big conference that's going on. Like all these people are going to be at the same conferences and they're going to be seen again at some point and they're going to see you. So I think the main one I did was Art Basel. Art Basel, so if no one knows what Art Basel is, or Art Basel, however you want to say it, is basically Miami's Fashion Week. So it's Miami's Fashion Week, and it was probably the most humbling experience of my life because I realized I'm not going back there until I'm there. And there meaning I just got ends in the bank account like everyone else there during that week, 2-week period. South by is an investment I'll put into every year until I don't have to. BET weekend just now, and just trying to figure out how I could get booked and kind of make it look good while I'm out there. Perception is almost everything within the industry. And yeah, so as far as me, I'm an investor in travel and just seeing new things, meeting new people.
You do have to invest in travel. You can't like, I as you were talking, I was thinking about like how often are you paying for plane tickets?
Yeah, I'll buy one after this.
Yeah, right. Like your flights on the regular. So it's like am I'm thinking about like art, like the idea of an artist is it's a lot more. It's a lot more broad spectrum than people give it credit for, because a lot of people will be like, "Oh, I'm not such a creative person." But everyone has like this level of creativity or potential creativity. And if you're employing it in a variety of ways, you are in fact an artist. So like I think that we're speaking about a lot of key principles that work in a lot of different industries. And I'm thinking about myself as a psychologist and how much money I invest into going to these conferences overseas. In October, I spent a couple of $1,000s being in Italy so that I could be inspired by the experience of Italy, but also so that I could attend this week-long conference. I'm staying at a nice place. It's a great experience. And it was the opportunity to network with the people that are in my field, my industry. And if you're wanting to be in entertainment, be around other entertainers. Art Basel, I mean, I heard you just say that, like, I want to make sure that I'm really there. I want to encourage that you are even if you don't have M's in your bank account, like, you want to be around other people that maybe do have M's in their bank account, because that is how you are. You want to be around the frequency that you're wanting to align with. And you being a co-founder in VIDA, that's such a big offering to the artistic community in a variety of areas. I think that, man, still go to Art Basel.
Definitely. Yeah.
But this thing on networking is so valuable. What I see, two other things that I see for artists is like, it seems to me, I have a lot of like observing mind on dynamics and things, and like I see that a lot of artists, friends that I've even had that maybe did not get off the ground. Maybe I've known some artists for 10 or more years that they were musicians, they were rappers, they were producers, or they were directors, or they were doing some different things. And why didn't they get off the ground? Well, they didn't get off the ground. One is for any industry, for all professions, for all actualizing of human being, is consistency. If you this is just good masculinity. If you are honest, honesty is like you making an honest effort on your craft every day, or as many days as you can. And honesty is consistency. It's making an honest effort, making a consistent effort. So consistency, huge one. And then another one is like business acumen. There's so many like visual artists like painters and things like this, and musicians as well that don't have a whole lot of like business acumen and foundation and financial intelligence. And there's some sort of like disposition between financial intelligence and artistry. There's some sort of weird disposition that is like misunderstood. Like your financial intelligence and your ability to have that business acumen is just going to be more of a foundation and a launching pad, a platform for your artistry to get to more people like you would want it to get to. If you're creating, you're putting in all this effort. What do you think about like people not having so much business acumen? How could they develop that? What do you think about that?
Yeah, Travis, I think you like spoke on it perfectly. Is like, what you're speaking on is applicable to any industry. You know what I mean? And people without business acumen, at some point you have to figure it out, because whether it is other people representing you, you can be taken advantage of. So whatever you're doing, whether you're starting a business, you know what I mean? Like you should know all facets of the business, whether it's accounting, financing, marketing, things of that such, because if you don't, it's gonna like plummet down at some point. And yeah, I think you spoke on it perfectly. Like people lack something sometimes for them to even get and excel to the next level. Yeah.
Where did you get that? Did you found that some of it was in your education? I assume like a more formal education. But like, where did you develop this? Like to be able to be in all of these positions that you're in and having all of these projects, really like a lot of people would aspire to be at a similar level, myself included. I would aspire to, if I could have a wedding venue, that'd be dope. If I could organize those things. How did you gain all of that, financial business acumen to be able to do these things?
Yeah, it was definitely my background of school, in college, for sure. I think my parents set a good example, because they did work some pretty good jobs to the point they moved to Fairfield for a reason, to not pay San Francisco prices, but pay Fairfield prices to live in somewhere in a good home. So, from the upbringing of that, I think I've noticed how my parents coded. So coding meaning you kind of flip a switch in the professional setting and the not professional setting, you know what I mean? And I think from a young age I realized that college, I didn't like school. I don't think I liked school. I went to two different colleges, so I got to realize that they're just gonna make, the college curriculum is just gonna make things harder through tests and through work and stuff like that. But I always like love group projects, and I always love getting to know about professors and getting to know other people that they knew. So I knew if I got one thing out of college, it'd be a network to get a job or to land something later on down the line. So yeah, I think I developed that in college as well. As like what I enjoyed from college is definitely more networking aspect of it.
Absolutely. You learn so much from just having conversations with people, networking,
Correct.
you get so much value out of that. So yeah, that's really great. So VITA is this application that is going to revolutionize the music industry. Can you, for those that don't know, can you tell us about VITA?
Yeah.
VIDA.
Yeah.
Now.io. It's like
Correct.
the
VITA
following, right?
now.io. So, I'll first speak on what it is and like how it came about. But yeah, basically, in a nutshell, it is an application where fans and supporters are going to be able to like distinguish who they follow the most, and creators will be able to realize who follows and engages with them the most through every platform, whether it's YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, Instagram, X, Facebook, and yeah, so it's going to be an application where it's not just one platform that it tells you the most engagement of, but like all of them put together, and it develop a point system to know, who your top fans are through a leaderboard. And we're going to start off with the first top 10 fans, like that's going to be the highlighted part. And then, you could see your top 50, top 100, what markets are you're most engaged with as well. So yeah, it's going to be very beneficial for creators. businesses, brands, and venues down the line. So yeah, we're really excited for it. How I came about it was our CEO and my co-founder Sam. Um, he booked me to DJ an event, a Web3 event in February of 2021. Like it was when the market was booming with all the Web3 stuff. And basically, we got to meet him, got to stay connected. He worked at an office space that I worked out of too in downtown Salt Lake City. And there was a lot of people moving here at the time. So, it was a really good time for just people to feel good and to connect, even now, but more so then. And yeah, so got connected with him. Our other co-founder, Kyle, he's based out of Atlanta as well, too. And yeah, we just been hitting the ground running with all this, doing events in different markets with different people. Um, and yeah, so we got connected, been connected since. He gave me the run. I was working on something else actually at the time. It was called Color Box with my guy Matt. So our connection was through Matt. And startups are startups. So at some point there's going to be a time where sometimes they don't work out, but you can pivot and maneuver to like what you want to do. And then Sam approached me about something that was very similar to Color Box, but in my opinion, better. And instead of music, we made it for like all creatives, and we emphasized it to be for all types of creators as well too, and anyone with the platform essentially. And yeah, so that's VITA.
You seem like just such the right man for the right job, because the ways that I'm like looking at your background and your upbringing and stuff, like you're Bay Area, all of the story that you've already told us so far just kind of positions you with the right seeds in mind. And when that was happening during this Web3 boom, this NFT boom, this blockchain boom, it's like, oh, that is inspiring this same sort of idea. So for the audience, like, imagine this, an application that can pinpoint your number one fan, that you could dial in all of the data, all of the algorithms, all of the different applications that people are involved in today. You have at least 5 social media applications on your phone, pretty likely. And maybe some of those applications you don't think of as a social media application, but it's still like Spotify. You think of it as just like a music listening podcast. But imagine that you could dial into your number one fan, offer them incentive as your number one fan, or also imagine that you could be competing against somebody else, against other fans, to be in that number one slot, because you're like, oh, you think you're a real, some people, I maybe this would be funny, like the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef, some people will say, oh, I've been a Kendrick Lamar fan. I knew that Kendrick Lamar is the man. And then if we look at your video, if we look at your record, we'll probably see all of those Drake records that you've been listening to. You haven't really been that Kendrick Lamar fan that you're acting like you have been. But I was legitimately a Kendrick fan. Just imagine that you could have this application that pinpoints the artists that you're listening to such an intimate degree. It hits such a really passionate aspect, and it's so nourishing for the artists themselves. It like incentivizes you're nourished because you get to see first, and you get to see very directly who is my number one fan. I think that's so cool, so inspiring.
Yeah, and just to speak on VITA again, from a security standpoint, when you do log in as a supporter or a fan or a creative, you put your own logins in. So if anyone was iffy about the security part of it, you just put your own logins in. It's all trackable data through the applications themselves that will firsthand integrate with. So that's it.
Very interesting, and I think that is probably an important question for a lot of people to have. What are these security measures and things like this? Especially in this current times, we've recently seen some issues with TikTok and things like that on a security level. But you are creating your own login information. It is it is just going to. It sounds like to me like I don't know as much as you do, of course. It sounds to me like it's just sourcing from these other applications the data so that it can construct your listening profile or your consumer profile, maybe to some degree. That probably has an ugly connotation for people, but your fan profile is probably better. So it's going to construct that fan profile so that the artist can actually imagine you're the best. You're the number one Russ fan, right? You're Russ's number one fan, and Russ never knows. Like it just like doesn't know you, doesn't know that there's somebody out there just like 24/7 rocking old Russ songs, rocking the early albums, the early outs. We are in a time of like these artists have to have new music every day. Like it has to be a new album every year, and then we kind of like forget about the old albums. Just like the innovative mind around that, and the idea that like the same sort of principles that influences blockchain, and that you could see somebody's like projected contribution as an artist and as a listener. It's really incredible.
Yeah, thank you. So, we're really like excited to collaborate and partner with basically, other very well-known artists that are, notable within their industries. I'm looking to attack hip hop and R&B the quickest. That's my like network. But going to all these conferences, I realize, country, alternative, and indie, and all these other genres are like, K-pop, even K-pop, like we're willing to work with anyone if we want to. And just to see basically the applications other people made to their careers and other genres than what I'm like profound in, it's a beautiful thing to see, and there's a reason why people are at the stage you're at. And we're going to do the same things for ourselves with VITA.
Yeah.
And we're in the beta right now, so it's on the way. We're in the beta right now.
So like Art Basel is a great place to have investors, you're like if this is a part of your portfolio, VITA, like you pretty much have a key to everywhere. As far as like you have maybe not a key to everywhere, but a reason to be anywhere.
Exactly.
And so I had asked some questions that I thought were good at the networking event, but I'll ask them here for you to answer. Is like, so is this just for musical artists?
No, so it'd be for authors that have audiobooks, podcasters, directors, people in film as well too, actors, comedians. Yeah, kind of anyone with a platform that they're kind of just trying to track their engagement.
Yeah, think about like think about like how broad spectrum I mentioned about artists, artistry in the world, like how broad spectrum this can be, and it's still niched and narrowed down enough to be like a real product, like a real some things can be too generalized and it can't work, but this is like it's niched and narrowed enough that what we're looking for is to find the number one fan of any of these different mediums. So it could be podcasting, it could be visual art, it could be musical art, of course, in the hip hop lane that you're in. Finding out, the number one DJ, the number one. I asked a question. I asked this with another guy that was asking a good question about like. I guess it sounded like DJ Calvin was mentioning that Russ does a good job of referencing the other people that work on the projects, or like recently he got into doing that more and more. So I would be able to to dial in on theoretically I could dial in on which producer of music I tend to gravitate towards, even if it's not always the same artist that they're working with. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, especially through Apple Music and Spotify that are already like be there because they are like a part of the projects, you know what I mean? So if they were
Right.
a part of the project and they're listed as they're credited for it, then yeah, you can definitely. I listen to certain producers too, you know, even through like just these streaming platforms. You know, I get to see who I listen to the most already, and yeah, it's nice. It's nice to
Yeah.
know that you can support in that way too. But yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So, earlier, I think today, maybe, yeah, earlier today, I saw Meg the Stallion. She posted recently. She was on Family Feud or something, but like
Uh,
she posted a like she had like multiple photos or whatever. One of them, she was sharing a tweet from Juicy J, and I'm like, what?
mm,
That's what's up. Meg the
yeah,
Stallion's fucking with Juicy J. I have a lot of love for Juicy J.
yeah,
So it's like if you could find some, Juicy J is like an example of somebody that has been a lot behind some musical projects that you might have been a big fan of. That you did not know that this person was also was also a part of that project, and if you could, if VITA could help you find that kind of information out, like who you're gravitating towards, that's so cool, and maybe it also just continues to open up how how a fan, how a listener can dive more into the music industry. It kind of opens up the music industry for the fan.
yeah, correct.
That's
Hmm.
so cool.
And yeah,
Um,
you know,
I, and another good example I want to mention, just it was on my mind, is 50 Cent. Like 50
mhm,
Cent, when he was coming up as an artist, he's not spending time just having a great time at the club and drinking and stuff like this. He's in his room, like figuring out the business acumen. He's figuring out the business things, and that's why he is who he is today. And to be able to have an album that has like transcended 2 decades is really crazy. Not all artists can have that kind of longevity. So
correct.
like applications like this is going to be able to give artists longevity in that way. Like, there's so many different lanes that this is going to be able to nourish the artists. And then also, these artists, I just want them to have some takeaways from this of like consistency. And maybe you don't have maybe you don't have like uh, a a routine. Maybe you don't have a routine that you're living by. But maybe taking a rest day is a good way to reignite some of those creative juices if you're feeling like you're getting to that empty canvas and it's staying empty. Things like that, like just consistent production, consistent in there, rest in there as well. Figure out the business acumen as well. Networking is maybe everything, maybe the foundation for all of this. And just really incredible the different offerings that you have, DJ Teo.
Thank you, Travis. Appreciate it. And
Absolutely.
I know I spoke on it earlier with my Art Basel experience, right? And like I did say it was humbling, but it wasn't humbling in a discouraging way. It was humbling and motivating. And it was a bunch of I've had a lot of humbling but motivating experiences in my life to be like, okay, now I know this is a bigger picture. So, it just some things happen like that. And the reason why I moved to LA, the reason why I've been at these conferences is because it could be life changing in some set, whether it's, you know, um, like at that time or it's in the future, you never know who you can meet and you never know
Yeah.
who you'll meet again and come across with and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
those are good experiences. It's like sometimes it's like, this is what I could be here. Like I
correct.
like I'm in this space. I'm not right here yet. I'm not there yet, but I know that. But just for me being in this space in this moment, I know that I could get there. And that's really great. I think that's a lot of the message for a lot of these artists. A lot of these artists that have really popped off and made successful careers of themselves, is like, you can do it too. But some of these foundations that we talked about here is really important. And what you're providing with VITA, I think is going to open up so many levels, so many avenues for people to continue to explore and dive in. It'll be such a value for the music industry in a big way. Where can people go to continue to follow your work, be transformed by the things that you're doing?
Yeah, so all platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of them. X, it's Mateon, so MATEOWNS. That's my at name. And you can always look at my website. I'm pretty active on my website too at officialdjteo.com. And I'll probably post this on there too. It's really good to have people see this side of me and everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, DJ Teo. I really appreciate this conversation. I think there's a lot of value for a lot of people. And I look forward to continuing to follow the development of VITA. So VITAnow.io, it's in beta, but just a great opportunity for people to explore the future of the music industry and like what they will be able to do, and everyone that's out there that's a creator, keep creating, keep going.
Exactly.
I like this quote I heard recently from Ryan Holiday: celebrate the now by doing the verb. And so like celebrate all your successes by doing the thing that has got you to those successful places. Celebrate that song by making a new song. Just keep creating out there. So thank you so much, DJ Teo. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Travis. And for the audience, if anyone has any questions or want to reach out, I'm an open book, so feel free.
You're thinking, who is this man talking? I'm talking to you. You are the realest one you know. And if you need